shopping lists, whatever. The advantage of Evernote, it's free, at least the version I use is free. It works on several platforms. It works in Android and on iPhone. It works on iPad. It works on Apple, and it works on PCs. And that means that you can install Evernote on several different devices that you use and use the same account when you generate that or when you install that, and then it'll sync your notes across those devices so that notes that you've created on your iPhone can be available to you on your laptop and vice versa. What I would suggest to you that what you'll do then is you can create individual notes. This is an example of an individual note about propositional statements. You'll see that the list of notes is here that belong to this particular notebook, and then down below a little word processing window that enables me to enter the note and then look at that note when I've done it later. If you're going to use Evernote, then I would suggest that you create a new notebook for your specific topic. My specific topic here is mental math, and I'm going to synchronize that notebook so I have it available to me across my devices. And then as you're working through that, you'll put the note in. Here's a note from Todd Oppenheimer in the Schooling the Imagination, the Atlantic Monthly, 1999. Quotation about mental math that I've included there from him. And so it's cited correctly. I've got the information there. I also suggest that you use tags that will, you can see that here that I've said, this is an example, just a tag for the type of supporting material it is. Where I might locate it in terms of speech, I would maybe put that in my solution section of my speech, and then also the visualization section of the speech. That's a guess. I might move that around later, but that at least helps me to think through how I'm going to use this in the speech. So keep one piece of supporting material per card. The advantage of this really, you can work on it in multiple places. It gives you some abilities to sort your information, and it's already in a computer format, so once you get to the point where you need to pull it into a word process, it's just a matter of copy, cutting, and pasting. Some of the downsides, one is just a learning curve. It takes some time to get to know any of these note keeper kinds of programs. They're databases, basically. And so you have to take some time to get to understand how they work. And at least with Evernote, it doesn't import easily into Word, real quickly into Word, or a word processor of any kind. And so that can be kind of a hassle. But still, it's a very helpful way to organize your notes. The last way of organizing the material that you gain that I want to talk about is reference management software. A reference management software, probably the most popular, is EndNote. These are programs that are specifically designed for collecting sources for research projects and then being able to cite them in a written document. When you have an EndNote, you're basically creating a large database of your sources. When you've got a source, you pull up a template. You'll tell what kind of reference type you're looking at. This is an article. It'll give you a list of categories or fields that you'll fill in: the author, the year, the title, the journal, the volume, the issue, the pages, the start date, the date you accessed it, or whatever. And you just go through that and fill in all those that are appropriate. It also gives you a couple of large fields for an abstract and for a notes, so that if I were working with EndNote, or when I do work with EndNote, I just put the notes that I take from that source in the actual entry for that field, and then that's helpful because those note sections are fully searchable. This is a fully searchable database, and so if a term that I need is found in a particular note, I can just search for that specific word and find it, and then use that source. So this is what a record looks like once it's been filled in. This is for a speech on adult attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and it's all filled out there with all of the data. And what will happen then is EndNote will actually convert all of that information depending on what source citation format I'm using, whether MLA or APA or Turabian or whatever, and it works with lots. But it will actually generate the correct bibliographic output for my source. So really reduces a lot of time in getting to where I want to go in terms of writing. So this is what an entire library might look like. These are 10 sources on mental math that I've accumulated from the Library of Congress. It's able to interact with that and pull it right in there. So EndNote has a lot of advantages. It is great for organizing large quantities of references. I think it's essential for graduate school. I absolutely wish that this had been around when I was in graduate school. So if you're planning on going to graduate school, or if you're in a field where you're going to be doing a lot of research, you're expected to write lots of reports, I would encourage you to get EndNote, learn how to work with it. It works really well with the word processor. Like I said, you toggle back and forth. You insert your references from EndNote into your paper in your word processor, and then it automatically generates the bibliography for you. Some of the disadvantages, one of the disadvantages is EndNote is expensive. As a student, you can get it with your student ID for about $100. After that, it's about $300. It's well worth the expense, but it is expensive. And then the other disadvantage is it takes time to learn. I've been working with this. I've got now EndNote 12. I think we're up to EndNote 15 now, and I've been using this since EndNote 5. So, and I'm still learning how to use it. It takes some time, but again, the time invested in learning it is well worth that time because of the time it saves and the way in which it keeps research together. So I've given you four different ways that you can record the data that you're collecting in the process of doing your research. What I want to suggest to you, though, is that these are not an exhaustive list. They're just suggestive for different things that you might think through and look at. Certainly, you can go with the old pen and paper format, whether in a notebook or in note cards. You can go with a word processor, whether it's Google Docs or Microsoft Word or some other word processor. You can use a dedicated note software format like Evernote or Simply Notes or something else that you might find. And then there are a number of reference management software packages out there like EndNote, and you can look into those and maybe use those.